So listen, you're still pretty. It's not Valentine's Day anymore, but you're still pretty. I shouldn't be the kind of person that only says that once a year. I will be, but anyway.
This is Mac OS Ken.
Berkshire Hathaway sells a little bit of Apple. Apple gets artsy again with AI. And the first round of returns for Apple Vision Pro. What's up, gorgeous? It's Thursday, the 15th of February, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. I guess it's kinda, sort of news when Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sells any Apple shares. It's really tough to read into it, though. The Wall Street Journal has written up the move, which saw the Oracle of Omaha shave 1% off of his firm's Apple holdings. I'm no Pythagoras, but I think that means he still has 99% of what he had before the sale. That leaves Berkshire owning 5.9% of Apple, a stake valued at $167 billion. The Journal listed a number of near-term negatives for Apple's shares. According to the report, Apple has faced a slew of challenges, including regulatory scrutiny of its App Store policies, declining sales in China, and investor worries about its growth prospects. Several analysts have downgraded the stock. Famously a day trader, you know all of that is top of mind for Mr. Buffet. I'm kidding. While I have little doubt he is aware of what's going on around the Cupertino company, what happens over the course of a single month or a single quarter seems of little interest to him. Buffett invests for the long term. If he was looking for the exit, he probably would have sold more than 1% of his holdings. Anyway, that was a thing that happened. Up next, Buffett's letter to Berkshire Hathaway investors, along with the firm's annual report. Both are expected on the 24th of February. Apple's getting artsy again with artificial intelligence. A little over a week after news of Apple's MLLM-powered image editor MG went public, a piece from Cult of Mac says a new paper from 3 Apple researchers has outlined an AI tool called Keyframer. With it, the researchers say users can create animated illustrations from static 2D images via natural language prompting. Cult of Mac says users just input an image, then describe how an animated version should look. If you think that sounds like fun, fun is apparently not the goal. Not yet, anyway. The piece says Keyframer is intended for professional designers. It supports exploration and refinement of animations through a combination of prompting and direct editing of generated output. That said, it may trickle down to folks who have no idea what they're doing at some point. The paper on the research says the use of descriptive natural language prompts has the potential to reduce the technical expertise needed to create design artifacts and provide novices with educational opportunities to improve their design skills. I'll take Make the Future Sound Excruciatingly Dull for 50 art. As day follows night, so do OS betas for public testers follow OS betas for developers. I told you about the latter hitting on Tuesday. Now, a couple of pieces from Mac Rumors say Apple on Wednesday seeded the third betas of iOS and iPadOS 17.4 to the company's public beta testing program, along with the third beta of macOS Sonoma 14.4. Not a lot is known about what's coming for the macOS update specifically. The report on that says it introduces some of the same features found in the iOS beta, including new emoji. As for iOS and iPadOS 17.4, Mac Rumor says the latest betas introduce a number of changes for folks in the European Union, including making way for app stores besides Apple's App Store and payment methods besides Apple Pay. Also, transcripts for Apple Podcasts, tweaks for Safari, and, have you heard, new emoji. While we tend to focus on what's coming in new updates, an anticipated feature seems to have been pulled. Another piece from Mac Rumors says the iOS and tvOS betas have seen Apple remove an Apple Music SharePlay feature it had been testing in iOS and tvOS 17.4. That they're only writing it up now, the report says the feature was actually pulled from testing with the second public betas. Meant to let users and devices share the play back of media. The report says on the HomePod and Apple TV, the SharePlay feature allowed users to generate a QR code on the iPhone for HomePod that could be scanned to give friends and family members the option to play songs on the device. The HomePod or Apple TV owner was required to have an Apple Music subscription, but those contributing content simply needed the Music app without a subscription. It's unclear whether the feature will be back in time for the public release of the operating systems. That is expected next month. If you want to keep up with the OS additions and subtractions firsthand, Apple's public beta program is open to the public. It's right there in the name. More info is available at beta.apple.com. So here's a weird thing to think about. A piece from Mac Rumors says tomorrow, Friday the 16th of February, is the last day to return Day 1 Apple Vision Pro units under the standard 14-day return window. For those who purchased a Vision Pro online or in a retail store on the 2nd of February launch date, says the piece, the 2-week return window will end on Friday, the 16th of February. I saw a story on Cult of Mac that said its unscientific count put potential returns at 45% of those purchased. That sounds like a crazy high number, though the number is not nothing. Parker Ortolani over at The Verge posted online, "What a bummer of a day. Can't believe it, but I've returned the Vision Pro. Just too uncomfortable to wear and it's a strain on my eyes. It is clearly the future. It works like magic, but the physical trade-offs are just not worth it for me right now. I'll be back for the next one," Ortolani continues, assuming they fix these comfort issues. Personally, I can't imagine, though I've only tried it for the few minutes they gave me with the in-store demo. If you found it's not for you, Mac Rumor says Apple will take it back, and the same goes for accessories like the $200 Vision Pro travel case. The usual caveats apply, of course. Return products must be in their original condition with the original parts, accessories, and packaging. Returns can be done at an Apple store or can be initiated online through Apple support channels. Now, there is one exception to all of that. The piece says the headset's custom Zeiss lens inserts cannot be returned to an Apple retail location. While Apple will take those returns, that has to be started through the order listing page online. Standard reader inserts can be returned through a store. And now, as I've done with everything having to do with Apple Vision Pro, I'm curious to hear from people who are returning the device. Did you just get it thinking you'd try it for 2 weeks and see? Did you get it and find it's not working for you? There are, of course, a couple of ways to get in touch with me. info@macoscan.com or leave a voicemail 716-780-4080. Word of a new series in production for Apple TV+. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Wednesday announcing Prime Target, an 8-episode, 1-hour conspiracy thriller. Describing the series, Apple says, Prime Target features a brilliant young math postgraduate, Edward Brooks, on the verge of a major breakthrough. If he succeeds in finding a pattern in prime numbers, he will hold the key to every computer in the world. Soon he begins to realize an unseen enemy is trying to destroy his idea before it's even born, which throws him into the orbit of Taylor Sanders, a female NSA agent who's been tasked with watching and reporting on the mathematician's behavior. Together, they start to unravel the troubling conspiracy Edward is at the heart of. Actually, that should have said, of which Edward is at the heart, but it's a show about math, not a show about grammar. And again, there's no reason they can't do both. This is a show about Apple. No word on when Prime Target will hit Apple TV+. And finally today, the ability to watch 4 times as much baseball at once is coming to the MLB TV app on Apple TV. 9to5Mac says Major League Baseball has made the announcement. During the 2024 season, says the league, we will bring multi-view to more platforms, enabling subscribers to watch up to 4 games at once on the MLB apps on supported Apple TV, Fire TV, and Google TV devices. To this point, 9to5Mac says the Apple TV MLB app has only allowed people to watch 2 games at once, one in a smaller window off to the side of the primary game, like some kind of freaking caveman. People who wanted to watch 4 games at once had to use the MLB TV website, like some other kind of freaking caveman. You know, I rarely watch sports because I tend to feel like I've wasted my time. I wonder whether 4 games at once would make me feel like I've only wasted a quarter of my time, or 4 times as much. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.